So today we're going to do kind of an abbreviated demonstration of an 18th century food preservation technique called potting meat. Beef and fish were the most common meats potted. This is a short-term preservation, but if you've got some leftover beef like we do here, we're going to pick through that, take out any fat, and remove any sinew so that we just have the meaty fibers. And then we're going to pack that in clarified butter and pulverize it and pack it into jars. So here we're basically just taking a mortar and pestle and we're pulverizing the meat. In 18th century recipes, they talked about making this a paste or making it creamy. We're blending in purified butter, about a third the amount of the meat. And we're basically just making a meat paste. The more fine you make this, the better it will pack into the jars. And so this is something that we would prepare to pack away to carry on a journey or on a trip, or if I use this if I'm hiking or backpacking. It's a great protein source. It keeps in the jar when sealed for weeks. Even after opening it, I'm not afraid to eat it for a day or two. So once we have this well pulverized into a paste, we start packing it into the jars. Now, these jars are a little overpacked. I'm only doing 3. I've got a little leftover meat, and this is for a personal camping trip. So you want to pack that in, and basically you want to make sure there are no pockets of air, because that's the point of packing in the butter. So again, this is purified butter. Pack those in so that there's enough room on top to pour. Most of the recipes suggest a half inch to an inch of space to pour the purified butter on top. This is going to solidify and seal this. Now I am going to heat this in an oven to seal my canning seals. You do not have to do that. And even without that, these most of the recipes suggest can be kept for months and consumed later. So I'm going to put my seal on there in a ring, and we're going to place these on a pan, and that's going to go into the oven at 200 degrees for about 45 minutes. And what we end up with is something like this. Literally a potted meat. When you break that butter seal on top, this is smooth and somewhat creamy. It's excellent on toast and crackers. Absolutely delicious right out of the jar. Of course, it could be heated and used in a lot of different ways. Typically, if I'm packing this, once I break the butter seal on top, I'm going to want to consume that within a day. Most maybe the next century day. References to this reference packing it in porcelain or clay jars. Here I'm using glass jars, so I will wrap these in wool when I pack them away in my pack to further protect the jars. These are sealed, and so they're good for many, many months, up to a year to 2 years. And even once I take the seal off, again, I can carry these as long as the butter is sealed for several days in my pack. I added sea salt and garlic to this as I was pulverizing it. Some recipes called for nutmeg. And this can be done with about any meat. If you've got leftover fish, beef, it could be packed away. You can even wrap this in leaves and purified butter and preserve your meat for several days. There's a lot of options with this technique of preservation. And so it's something worth exploring. Tastes wonderful. I know it doesn't look very appetizing, but this really does taste quite well. It's very easy to work with, very easy to do, technique that's easy to learn.